And a Zia ban. Again, Xiaohu definitely a pointed ban because Xiaohu is just a fantastic Shurima player.
You know who's never played Azir competitively?
Who?
Godvi.
Really?
Yeah.
Not one Azir game?
Not one Azir game.
That is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Still one of the top Chinese mid laners, so very interesting. But Kallista's going to be banned away from the blue side. So RNG not wanting to grab that one. Echo's going to be banned at the end there, LGD.
You have to ban Kallista against Imp.
Well, Woosh not wanting to play it, that's more to the point.
Yeah, it makes sense, though, if you think about what their priority is, although I don't really agree with that one either. But they decide Alish is a high priority pick, so I'm not docking the Alistair pick or anything like that. It's a legit pick, very powerful champion. But I was about to say, you know, Wushin's not the primary carry, so it makes sense that they wouldn't give their priority pick to them, that you'd more look so for MLXG or Xiaohu, but instead they decided to give it to Lei.
And there's also a double swap over here. So TBQ, he's off.
Oh, wow. They have a sub jungler in.
Yeah, Xiaoxi having a bit of a shot here for the LGD lineup. So Flame considering a Hecarim here as he's moving over Rumble. That'd be just the classic maneuver here for LGD. Only a second to go, and it is going to be Rek'Sai and the Thresh being locked in for PYL and Xiaoxi here. So often it is sort of like the break-in champion that you play.
You got that right on the bat, too. I'm actually really impressed with your pronunciation.
Is that actually correct?
As close as I'm going to get it.
I was trying to avoid saying it for the majority of the beginning. Like,
my Chinese is very limited.
Okay, well, look, I went for it, and it seems like we may have got there as well. So, Rek'Sai is going to be locked in. Godby now thinking about a Nafa Flame, definitely one of his most successful champions. An Imp hovering over the Vayne, but it's in answer to the Corki and Rumble locked in over the RNG side. Already some nice sort of mid-game power spikes there with the Trinity Force, of course, the level 6 from Rumble. Definitely a big deal here, as well as the Haunting Guy Sorcerer's Shoes combination, if he can get there. LGD still considering what they want to have in that 80 carry position, and Imsgraves has done some pretty ridiculous things, but he does switch over to the Vayne, and Imp is going to pick that one up. So what were the stats with Imp's Vayne? 25 to 11, something like that?
Yes, his Vayne is 25 to 11 of all time. That is a 69% win rate. But I just want to say in my notes, tendency to insta-lock Vayne at the worst possible moment.
Is this a worst possible moment?
No, I mean, it's a good answer to the Alistar because obviously the Unbreakable Will is going to mean nothing to Vayne's true damage.
Yeah, Silver Bolt's not going to care.
And it's not a terrible match. I mean, obviously she's a duelist champion. She's never really going to have a terrible 1v1 matchup, excuse me, unless you're against someone who's going to completely outrange her like Caitlyn. Even then, as soon as she gets into gap closing distance on Caitlyn, it's pretty scary.
And MLXG looks like he's going towards the TBQ champion. TBQ not actually here for LGD, so his spirit on the side of Lee Sin is going to be taken into the jungle here.
Do you want some
MLXG's hands?
More fun stats?
More fun stats, please.
MLXG's Lee Sin record is 2-10. He has a 17% win chance on that champion, and he just insta-locked it in the game that they need to win.
Well, we'll see whether he can prove himself on that champion then as we move forward. Victor is going to be the hover here for LGD. Godby still finding out what his choice in the mid lane is going to be. Looking like more of a two-threat comp here for LGD, but that is a lot of late game, especially single target damage here from LGD.
Yeah, it's
the explosion potential of this team on one target is stupid.
How Godby plays Victor is pretty terrifying. Again, we talk about how he stands on the back caster creeps and just contests you for every creep.
I'm just trying to remember his last Victor game as well. Did he just like rush Lichbane and just try and kill people 1v1? I think that was his strategy. We'll see whether it happens again, whether it's going to work out. Of course, a bit of manners there. Of course, speaking it into Xiaohu, who played that into him in the last game. So didn't opt to go back towards the Kassadin. Was available. Decides he doesn't want to pick that one up. But Sky back on the Rumble yet again. Flame happy to pick up his Na into the matchup. And MLXG trying to make it 3-10 on the Lee Sin in competitive play.
He's got it.
And Jashi just hanging out.
It fits very well with his style if you think about it, because again, he's very aggressive, very carnivore-esque as far as jungle styles are concerned, so not a super big surprise to see MLXG look towards that Lee Sin, big Nidalee player as well, although also pretty poor on the statistics department.
Yeah, not going so great there, but Liam now on the cow against POAL's Thresh. Lots of playmaking potential from both of these supports if they want to. Unbreakable Will, fantastic for diving those turrets and in the Chinese region. Definitely something that these teams want to do. And RNG, they probably need to start making the crazy plays for this game. They need to start building a way of getting them ahead somehow.
The big thing about RNG is that if they can make plays early off the back of LGD, again, he's a big playmaking jungler, he likes to snowball, that puts him in a comfort zone. The problem is they went for the skirmish last game early, and it just got snowballed reversed on them.
Yeah, it was a bit of a problem. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the game. And here we are, game 2 between RNG and LGD. LGD coming out swinging in the first bout. And RNG looking for a decent early start now. MLXG going to be able to clear out a ward with the help of his friends here in Lei and Whoosh. And Jiaxi probably going to have to be a little bit careful. Flame getting discovered by Xiaohu and Sky as well. As the Shock Blast does come through. Double Harpoon from Sky as well, as Flame might need to be careful. There's to the skies from Xiaohu as well. Switches back to Hammer Form. There's the Shock Blast. Flashes forward. First Blood goes to Xiaohu.
Level 1 Jace is so oppressive.
Silly.
Because you take 2 abilities and you get the empowered auto from changing between hammer form into cannon form.
Nailed it.
There you go. And then as well as having the Shock Blast available to you. Wicked strong.
Wicked strong is exactly the phrase that I would use as well. As Xiaohu's going to be heading to lane with an extra sword.
That's where we want it to be.
Yeah, Godby going for hard mode here. Might have just told Flame, if you could just give first blood to my lane opponent. I just want hard mode, if we could.
And can you please also burn your flash? Thanks.
So that your lane could be even harder as well. Double jungle seems to be erupting, though, from that one. Is LGD just going to be following each other around? Jiaxi and Flame now just sort of switching out the whole top side of the roster here for LGD. It's got to be walking up from the bottom side. Bit of a switch over of skins as well. Haven't seen that one for a while.
Not my favorite. It's not festive.
No, I don't like that one. Actually, I prefer, what's the yellow one?
I don't know.
I like that one. Jiaxi is going to be taking down the red buff though, and Flame's just going to join him here as well, as MLXG looking to move vertically, pick himself up a blue buff here, of course. A bit of a steal away potentially. Xiaohu getting preyed on just a little bit in his first game here for LGD. Yeah,
this is actually really smart. He needs to get out in time. Obviously, he's having a very quick and effective jungle, just like Rek'Sai will have, and Xiaohu will have no idea that this is going down, so he's effectively getting 3 buff, because from here he should back, you should back.
Decides instead,
okay, he's just wasting a deep ward. I was going to say, he has no time to do the wolf camp against Rek'Sai. She just jungles way too quickly, and as you can see, already crossing into that bottom side.
Yeah, heading over towards the wolf camp, going to be disappointed.
He wants to kill her?
Interesting. See whether he can. Actually going to head back around here as well, yeah. Just smites it away. Did he actually kill it?
No, she smited it to get the orb.
Yep. Whoa, Imp actually going to get hit by one of the phosphorus bombs there from Whoosh, but Lei takes a whole bunch of damage from that 3-hit combo from him. Using that Relic Shield to keep this Vayne healthy as PYL in this bottom side of the map. But as far as this matchup generally goes, you've got the Corki versus the Vayne. Generally, I could imagine probably in favor of the Corki, considering the vision that you can gain, especially after level 6, onto the Vayne that's going to be tumbling around trying to get stealthed up.
Well, the big thing is Corki needs to land his damage, and primarily levels 1 through 5 is going to be through his phosphorus bomb. And Vayne has a lot of tools on her composition, especially to trade. Tools on her kit to trade effectively with the tumble. So if you just tumble out of the phosphorus bomb and then you trade on the empowered auto, there's not a lot Corki can do at that point. So I'm going to say it's more of a skill-based matchup.
Well, here's to the skies. Xiaohu actually getting a bunch of damage down onto Godby here as well. Smacks him away. He's going to be sending a message here as Phosphorus Bomb does land. There's a headbutt pulverize onto him. Uses the heal, in fact, immediately as the Valkyrie comes out from Whoosh. Silver Bolts is there, but the Ignite's down. Teleport coming in from the RNG side.
That's very important.
Yeah, Sky burning that one is going to cancel it away.
So, of course, Flame also had to use his teleport already. So no teleports on either side.
Oh, the flash pulverize immediately tumbled from Imp. Actually, not even predicting that, I don't think. I think it was just tumbling anyway to pick up a creep, but just unfortunate timing there for Lei with the flash pulverize, and they don't get anything from it.
Yeah, and deciding not to commit on PYL, I wasn't able to get a good glance at his mana pool, so Alistair's combo requires about 140 mana. You have to think his Pulverize and his Headbutt are going to cost about 70 each. But it looked like he had the ability to look for the knockback there.
It's very exciting here on the bottom side of the map thus far. Flame with a slight level advantage on the top side. Imp's going to hit that level 4. Lei's still waiting for that particular mark, but has all of his abilities at the moment, so he's going to be fine.
Really, the only thing of significant importance that's happened early game so far is, of course, the initial first blood on Flame forcing his flash out of him, although he hasn't been punished for it. And then MLXG forcing the triple buff on Xiaoxi here.
Yeah, and Xiaoxi just trying to get his way back into this one. Phosphorus Bomb from Whoosh is going to land onto Imp. You're right, Rek'Sai unable to really make an impact early on, just needing to farm out these jungle camps as much as possible. MLXG making his presence known on the bottom side, but it is going to be the counter gank. Xiaoxi might be here in time.
He just can't power farm. He always has to look for the aggressive gank.
Yeah, well, PWL's going to get caught out, kicked back, and MLXG going to lock down the kill. Actually just got headbutted back. Of course, MLXG unable to do too much kicking here at level 4. As Xiaoxi is going to find him. But MLXG probably feeling pretty strong at the moment. Tier built up for Xiaohu. Just went back, grabbed that and some boots. Still down a little bit in the farm. Godby yet to go back. So he's going to pick up some more items now. Does have some boots. Picked up some more consumables as well.
But this is wonderful. This is exactly where RNG like to be when they find success in their games, and they've split a lot of series. Again, they're much closer to LGD in the standings than first game would have you believe.
Yeah.
It's because MLXG is able to commit onto these ganks early and get his lanes rolling. Obviously, that time around, he took the kill gold, so we'll see how he spreads this around. And instead of going for a Ruby Crystal into a Sightstone to spread it around with Vision, he goes into a Longsword.
Yeah, he's looking for that
murder.
Yeah, I assume it's probably going to be towards that Warrior Enchantment. Might be going for early Hex Drink or something silly like that, but I doubt it.
I would put my money on a Warrior Enchantment, especially for how much invading he's been doing on Rek'Sai's jungle. Yeah,
well, Imp is going to take that Phosphorus Bomb damage, but able to trade back quite nicely with all the auto attacks. This bottom lane, bit of a lead for Whoosh, about 5 CS, as PWL trying to predict the Duke, but not going to find it there with the Death Sentence. MLXG going to take down his red buff. So Xiaohu's hanging around here, knows that there is a jungler in the lane, so Godby still able to command some respect there now that he's got some friends. But MLXG farming up quite nicely.
And RNG are fine to continue to play an elongated lane phase. They do have a poke composition. Obviously, the core of their composition is going to be crafted with Jace and Corki. And then they have great objective control. Poke does really well not only in sieging on towers, but prepping for dragons as long as you place your vision. And then that couples really well with Sky's equalizer ability. So look for the dragon fights to be where RNG really thrive with their comp.
Well, they actually almost managing to land the headbutt there, but not going to pulverize Imp out of that dark passage. PWL going to save his Vayne very easily. And MLXG actually going to find PWL as he heads up towards here, but even on levels actually, not too bad. PWL managing to stick around in the lane, but they're looking to try and put pressure on this blue buff. 4 members strong. Godby wants to be here to try and take it away. Xiaohu wants to pick it up for himself, but MLXG going to grab it there. Beautiful use of the Chaos Storm as Flame's going to teleport in. Xiaohu very, very low. The Hyper Proc doing so much damage here. Flame's going to be able to lock down the kill already. MLXG's died, and LGD, they just grouping better here. They had the teleport advantage. Actually, Sky making his way in as well. But he's just going to die for that one. PWL eventually fell, but it's going to be 3 for 1 in favor of LGD.
And they managed to also grab back their blue buff as well as the dragon. I feel like we've seen this play before.
Definitely something reminiscent of the last performance from LGD. It's just their team play and coordination around. Like, the shot calling from PWL must just be fantastic.
And the fact that they understood perfectly beforehand what they were going to try to do, seeing MLXG approach into that buff and lay down the vision to try to catch second rotation of blue. And the fact that, you know, Godby stood perfectly on the other side waiting for his teammates to get into position, was very patient, dropped the Chaos Storm in a choke point, and they just ate so much damage that even a beautiful equalizer couldn't even it out.
Yeah, couldn't do it. As well as the fact that Godby had upgraded that Hex for just the once, so his Death Ray was just doing so much damage, managed to layer it down across so many people. I mean, the Chaos Storm did a fair bit of damage as well, but that Death Ray was really doing some work. Him taking some poke damage back from Whoosh actually looked like a decent trade. Then as soon as he tumbles, it's a very easy Phosphorus Bomb and Whoosh can get the damage back.
Wow. RNG trying to play so aggressive here, looking for the dive possibly.
Shashi does need to be careful taking down these puppies as MLXG. Not going to be able to Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike his way in there just because he managed to kill the wolf with that particular Q.
And they're able to do this and just freely walk into that bottom side blue tower. You saw that Godby was very pressed forward, but Imp is so low health, so low mana that they knew they had a numbers advantage, especially with both teleports down.
Oh yeah, Flame. We're going to go aggressive on Sky now that he had that Mega Knife form. Both Harpoons are going to go wide as Godby is paying a visit towards the top side of the map. Ward down for Sky though, he's going to spot out the Victor making his way in. Flame picks up his boulder. Don't know where he put it. Very small now. He's going to be able to get some vision down in Sky and needs to be a little bit careful now because all of his vision has ran out.
So with the initial dragon down, that means that you have a 6-minute window of opportunity where you can play with the top side of the map because there's no trading of objectives there as far as, you know, committing your resources top and then losing the dragon. So curious how MLXG and Shashi here are going to play around that as they fight over, and he gives it up. Oh, take it with
Shashi.
the E!
Yeah, he's actually going to get smited himself here as there's the kickback. Xiaohu comes in and Shashi's going to go down. Boomerang came in from Flame to try and stop that one, but that's an exemplification of MLXG's playstyle.
Yep.
Doesn't care about that Rift Scuttler whatsoever. It's not a battle over that. He discovered a champion, and killing that is exactly what you want to do. Kicks him back into his mid laner and picks up a kill.
Oh,
Godby, though, just going to get in there with a Chaos Storm. Walks out under it like only the cool guys do. Takes down that kill. Right place, right time. Takes a Dark Passage. He's going to be safe.
and initially Godby sitting in the mid brush there right above Xiaohu. Oh, what a hook!
There's the death sentence. Flayed back as well. Xiaohu, you ain't going anywhere, buddy. And Godby gets the kill delivered to him by his support cast. And Imp's going to kill Sky somehow as well.
Well, they know that MLXG is still in base, having just respawned, so there's no...
Did Imp teleport? Like, what's he doing top?
He just walked.
Wandered up there. Okay.
Flashed up there and healed.
Yeah, pretty big flash. Very well, though. He's just going to back in this brush. You can see so many tunnels available from Shashi, so can be able to get around the map as quickly as he likes. Doesn't have the Void Rush at the moment, but he's going to be able to get there if he needs to. Blade is going to be clearing out these minions underneath the turret, while there is, in fact, a Xiaohu back in base, just respawned. Flame going for a bit of a lane swap here. They know that the dragon's not available, so Flame able just to hold onto this one. Whoosh might be in trouble, actually. That Hyper doing some work here for Flame, now that he has a Hex Drinker, able to actually mitigate a lot of the damage here from Corki. And Imp's going to take down the turret. Beautiful
rotation here from LGD, but here we go. Here's the skill.
Yeah, Flame is going to be able to land the knob. Actually flings him back in towards Imp, who can easily get the extra damage. I actually love how that works as well, with the fact that Hyper and Silverbolt's very similar, so you have that surge of third hit damage from both Mini-Na and, of course, Vayne.
And the chained CC if he happened to... Because obviously you threw him back against the wall. Yeah.
All you need is a Poppy.
What?
So much wall damage. Heroic charge there as well. Flame actually dueling a little bit here with Whoosh. Dodges the boulder here on the side of the Corki as Lei is hanging around just to try and help out here. PWL's around, but 4 members strong of LGD moving towards the bottom side. Actually, Godby considering it as well. So RNG do need to be careful.
2-minute warning spawns for Dragon. So again, 6-minute window of opportunity where Dragon is down. They play to the top side of the map. They immediately take the first tier top tower. As soon as the 2-minute warning window happens for Dragon, they're back onto the bottom side of the map, applying pressure to the bottom tier tower as well as getting down deep vision. No one plays the map better than LGD.
Yeah, they just seem to be in the right places at the right times. MLXG with the Warrior Enchantment now also has that Sight Stone augmented, helping him out with his safeguards around, making him as slippery as possible. See whether he can get any work done. Of course, 1-2-1. Not exactly the score you're looking for when you really need to power through this early game, and MLXG definitely has to.
RNG should be relatively strong coming up into this next Dragon fight in a minute.
Speaking of which, Godby getting soloed out by MLXG. One more auto attack is going to be enough to smites him for it.
Oh wait, teleport. Here comes Flame.
Yeah, Flame looking to get in here. There's the boomerang and lands. Hyper comes down. He gets knocked back. Acceleration Gate going to get Xiaohu to safety, but another teleport comes in. Immediately knocked up to Sky Getters. He's going to have to try and get out of there. I'm not sure why I'm yodering a whole lot of these words all the time, but Sky is going to be safe. LGD going to take down the bottom outer turret.
All the resources committed, and this is really the difference between the teams, and it goes back to really MLXG. He'll pick up the kills, and a lot of time, not in this case specifically, but RNG will find themselves with a kill lead, but not a gold lead.
Flame able to get back up to the top lane as well. So definitely good at picking up as many objectives as they can. But Imp pushed into the wall here. Whoosh is going to be the focus. The ultimate is running here for Lei, but there's the Silver Bolts doing some work. The ult runs out as Imp just able to get the free damage off. Of course, Cow not going to really help out, but the minions might be a little bit too strong.
Beautiful use.
The wrong king, though.
It was a beautiful use of the final hour on top of the box, kiting around the walls, so utilizing the slow that Thresh is going to put down as opposed to just a catch, almost as an arena.
Yeah, I liked it. It was like they were
the Thunderdome.
Boxing match or something in the cage.
Boxing with shadows. No, that's not Vane's voice. Boxing with shadows. I can't do it. I gave up. I came out British. I was like, abort.
Wait, isn't she a bit British?
No, she's like Matrix.
All right, so she's Trinity.
Yeah, exactly. Caitlyn's British.
Yeah, got it. Actually, I'm trying to picture, trying to remember Vane's voice in my head. I just don't have it at all, so that's absolutely fine. Whoosh, though, is going to be able to clear out this bottom lane. Let's talk about that, because Corki's farming is definitely a fun thing here, but lots of vision available for LGD, so let's talk about that. The fact that LGD...
What, Corki's farming or the vision available for LGD?
The vision available for LGD, because they have really spread themselves out. They've got a lot of pink wards, and there's no way that RNG are able to get in towards all of their jungle this time around.
You're absolutely right, and the reason that they've placed all that vision again, because they were looking for the dragon. That was the most important objective to them, so they made sure that they got vision in and around that pit. And now, because dragon's gone, they're immediately picking up and moving their vision. So it's very important to note that with LGD, you don't just, keep one area of the map highlighted at all times. Anytime you move anywhere, you're setting down flanking wards.
And you can see Imp as well with an Avarice Blade picked up. Might be going towards that static shift, but could even be that Ghost Blade here as Lei's going to get caught by the Death Sentence. Actually just destroyed there. No Unbreakable Will. Was just about to hop back off cooldown. Outer turret going to fall in the mid lane. That's 3 already for LGD. They grab a pick, they grab a turret.
RNG did manage to trade the bottom tier tower. And that was pretty much the best trade that they had available to them at the map. So it's still not worth. And they're definitely still very behind and falling even further behind, but...
They take what they can get.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly 3,000 gold is going to be the lead here for LGD, so nothing like their previous game. 17 minutes into this one. Was in fact about 13 minutes and they were 7,000 gold ahead, so LGD not quite as far this time through, but Godby now with that Athene's on Holy Grail, also with the Hex score almost perfect. One more evolution before that gravitational field is going to be sucking people in. And that Chaos Storm is going to be moving super fast.
Now the question becomes, where do LGD go from here? Are they looking for a 5v5? Oh, that was close.
Well, Whoosh actually taking a whole bunch of damage. The Chaos Storm was down, but the Valkyrie is going to get Whoosh to safety. Imp finds his way in, though, and Lei. Whoa, that's a lot of damage from him.
I was going to say, because there's... Oh, wow.
Yeah, MLSG tries to go for the heroic play, but he's just going to get torn apart. So much damage from LGD, and he's so squishy. Flame looks for his way in. Whoosh going to get missed by that boomerang. Jiaoshi does manage to land the Prey Seeker. PYL lands a Death Sentence. It's a double kill for Godby. That equalizer was fantastic for Sky. We'll see whether it's enough to turn it around. It is able to get a few kills here as Imp trying to be the hero. Zhao, who is so incredibly low. And it is going to be Flame cleaning up for LGD. And Imp, one more auto attack on Zhao, who should do it, but is the passive going to be enough? Yeah, I think he's going to make it.
There's no reason for RNG to be fighting right there. They have a poke-based composition. You just need to lay down your Shock Blast on the acceleration gate as well as your Coke.
He saw a player, and he had to try and kill him.
And did you see the beautiful flash from PYL, knowing that he could get insect into the middle of the team, that as soon as Lee Sin came in, he flashed to the side, forcing Lee Sin to choose the Rek'Sai. And I feel like Xiaoxi, I mean, his scoreline 2, 2, and 5, that's not awful, but I kind of feel like he's just here for the ride.
Just hanging out.
He got kicked
just an LGD fan that won a competition.
He got kicked into the middle of the team. He was just like full in Rek'Sai mode, just kind of looking around. Okay, so here we go. There's the immediate flash. Rek'Sai gets kicked in, has no idea what direction to go, so Flame just bouncing forward. But there's no reason for RNG to be fighting here. They should be laying down their poke. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Xiao, who also has an incredible flash over this wall, which allows him to get the execution. And the other last little nifty thing that I want to point out is Imp looks around. He can take this kill. He could have taken the Sky kill, but he knows, okay, Flame, you got that? I'm going to go chase down the ace.
Yeah, and actually not sort of being greedy here as well. Knows that he'll grab an assist after Flame picks that one up.
But they're just so good at making sure that their cooldowns aren't wasted on multiple targets.
Well, Imp is able to actually get that red buff as well. That is one for Xiaoxi and also one for Imp now as well. So MLXG was unable to smite that one away. 4,000 gold now the lead for LGD as RNG. They are grouped up. Sonic Wave finds its mark, but Xiaoxi's pretty
oh, they're out of position. This is good.
Yeah, actually RNG looking to rush down this turret.
And then they're going to have to exit either back up or to the top side of the map and run into Flame.
Flame charging up that rage bar if he can. This outer turret is going to fall though, so RNG pick up the objective. Godby now with the Chaos Storm available. No flash though. Trying to get in there. Another Sonic Wave lands. MLXG has been playing this Lee Sin fairly well, if not a little bit overly aggressively. And this inner turret now under fire from RNG. This
is so excellent from RNG right now. Great positioning on the map. And LG are just frankly out of position. PYL's like, guys, get over here.
Yeah, grabs himself a Godby for the wave clear.
Oh, here comes the teleport.
Well, they do get the teleport. Sky holds on to his, so advantage for RNG. They pick up a turret. They get the teleport out of Flame.
Yeah, big misstep from LGD.
Yeah.
It only really equates into one tower, so not the worst trade for them, but they had a huge, pressure point and momentum going forward after winning that team fight. And frankly, for the last minute to 2 minutes, they've done nothing with it. So
well,
RNG.
I guess we can also talk about the fact that Jiahu has just completed the Manamune. He does have both of those armor penetration items and the
power
lucidity
spike on
boost.
Jace.
Yeah, he's going to be really hitting his stride on this Jace. He's not going to get much stronger in this game. And it's a Trinity Force on the Corki as well as the Sork Boots, Bilgewater Cutlass there as well. So as far as the strength of both of these carries is concerned, you're not going to get too much higher. So maybe LGD respecting that just a little bit, but it was a positional error.
It was a huge positional error. And then they couldn't decide if they wanted to commit to a flank or if they were going to walk all the way around. And obviously you have to be very respectful because, like you said, Jace had just finished most of his itemization as far as his penetration was concerned. So he's been doing massive damage and it is at its height right now. It's going to be curious if they're going to be able to transition Jace's power into securing the Dragon objective or contesting. Again, RNG's composition, they need to lay down their poke before they look for the all-in engagement. They have fantastic and wonderful objective control with in tandem of Jace, Corki Poke, as well as the Equalizer, but they've yet to execute it correctly.
Yeah, of course, the last Equalizer from Sky was actually fantastic in that choke point. Managed to get a fair bit of damage down. Of course, Flame did survive through it. He's just pretty tanky at the moment on this Nah. Able to get that Mega Node exactly the right times, but there's Whoosh on his screen. He just wants to be able to get his Corki to a point where they can get the work done.
So far, though, LGD in complete control other than that slight misstep. Maybe they're pausing like, I don't even know how I ended up in this river. I thought I was in mid lane.
What were we doing, guys? A brain reattachment or something like that. PYL just calling for his team to get themselves sorted out.
But this next Dragon fight is going to be massive. Now, obviously, most Dragon fights are going to be massive, but RNG, starting to get a slight foothold. Still playing from the back foot, but starting to get a slight foothold back into this game, that if they're successful in this Dragon endeavor, either through taking it or possibly they get a good team fight or a pick right beforehand, it could very easily swing the game wide open because, again, running Corki and Jace, if they can immediately translate that into Baron control, that would put them right back in.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can actually do that because, look, I'm just seeing that RNG are running out of time. They've got a Warrior enchant Lee Sin who's not really quite able to make things happen. And of course, as soon as you pick up that Warrior enchant, you want to be starting fights, making stuff work. But when you got this poke comp where you're saying that like they probably don't want to be engaging anything, they just want to be throwing shock blasts and hitting people with rockets and things like that. Just questioning MLXG's sort of decision making as far as the build is concerned, maybe even just the pick in general.
So Lee Sin has kind of this weird power spike, so like his early game is going to be incredibly effective, especially when he has the Warrior enchantment, just because he has one of the highest execution on the Sonic Wave, things like that, like the highest damage output as far as any of the junglers early. He falls into a mid-game power trough because he stops being useful in sieging towers and things like that, but as soon as he's able to in-sec targets and just like if he catches Imp, if he catches Godby, then his usefulness skyrockets again at these big 5v5s. So that's kind of like the roller coaster of Lee Sin. There's like a good 20-minute window where you're like, man, I really wish that I had a Sejuani on my team. But as soon as he hits that kick, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, you're the best. Why didn't we have more of you? Of course, Gragas can do it to 5 members at a time. So, look, We're not going to talk about the fact that he
No,
wasn't
we're
banned.
complimenting MLXG for his fantastic. I actually do kind of like their composition in the draft. Again, I think it's just an execution issue. I don't think it's a poor draft by any means. I think you're absolutely correct in that they have a limited window of opportunity where they need to act inside their power spikes and where they're really strong. But the fact that they have really great hard engage tools in terms of not just the inset kick, but Alistair as well, and then the equalizer on top of that. So, you know, you lay down your rockets, you lay down your shock blast, and then as soon as you see a fight that you like, where the enemy team's like, oh no, we're too low health, they're going to engage on us, you equalize behind them or across the team, and then you just send in your Alistair and your Lee Sin.
Yeah,
so
send in the cows.
Exactly. You've got, you know, both tools of we whittle them down, and then we have the tools to start the fight and force them to fight us.
Well, speaking of which, we are back into the game. Pause is over, ladies and gentlemen. 3,000, just over 3,000 gold, the lead for LGD as we head back into this. Josh, you're going to take down some Raptors. Some popcorn chickens available for this Rek'Sai. He's got to be going to be heading back to base as well. See what he decides to pick up next. Does have those lucidity boots built up. And it is going to be the perfect hex core already, sort of second item. MLXG going to get caught out though, so much damage. He's actually not available for LGD as that was just Flame, and P-Whale's going to lock it down.
Oh my god. Look at that damage though on the shock blast.
Silly under Imp, almost half of his health there as Lei wants to find his way in. Actually does have the flash, so it can be the flash headbutt pulverize. Imp tumbles out of the way of that shock blast from a screen away. Not sure how he managed to figure that one out. Might have just been tumbling for the extra damage on the Dragon, but it is going to be third one going down for LGD. Imp's Vayne is definitely looking strong though. Now he has the static shiv built up, 2-0 and 4.
I love the static shiv build on Vayne as opposed to the Phantom Dancer build, just because, especially how Imp plays her, it's very mobility based, so you're going to get a lot more static shiv procs as opposed to relying on the extra crit that Phantom Dancer will give you.
And then you also get more burst damage and more mixed damage as well.
And wave manipulation, so if they ever want to look at a 1-3-1 with the teleport as well as the dueling potential of Vayne, having that static shiv gives her so much more control and a lot more threat on sieging down towers than the Phantom Dancer Vayne.
Yeah, I like it. Condemn against the wall. Speaking of which, he is going to be able to get on top of him, but just kicks him. Just try and do something, does MLXG, so he's going to die for the 5th time here. Godby actually flashing back over the wall there. Chaos Storm was down. Phosphorus Bomb on the 2 members here as Godby does have to walk through almost an entire red carpet of Equalizer, and RNG waiting under there in a turret. Now going to be okay. Acceleration Gate giving them some extra movement speed as the bounce through as Joshi didn't get the memo. Actually heads back in here. But LGD are going to be able to disengage.
Not a lot lost there. And not a lot gained. Oh, hold on.
Jahu is going to be able to take down that pink ward, but doesn't find himself a Godby. Flame gets his back stopped. Sky looking to try and get in on that one. But Flame pretty tricksy on this little Nah. He's going to bounce his way around and get out of it.
Something that I haven't often seen as far as Imps matchups are concerned is a CS discrepancy.
Yeah.
205 to 166. Now, no surprise, Vayne doesn't have the easiest time laning in a lot of different matchups, but typically Imp finds massive snowball CS leads.
Yeah, and Imp often just finds himself a lane to sit in. He often parks himself around the mid-game if he is actually falling behind in a lane where he can soak up a whole lot of that farm, but it hasn't been the case this time around. Just, I guess, wanted to make more plays and actually has been able to do it.
No, yeah, I completely agree. It's just, it's funny to watch, and especially because LGD, again, it just goes back to they're so conscious about the side waves and making sure that that free gold is never wasted, that someone on their team is utilizing it. So it's usually how you see Godby, Acorn, Flame, or Imp with these massive CS differences, is because there's never just an unattended lane.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of the gold isn't divvied out to Imp this time around. See whether he puts in a complaint at the end of the game. This is like, guys, I'm just not getting the gold that I'm used to. If we could just sort that out, that'd be great moving forward. But we are going to have another pause, ladies and gentlemen. POL having a little bit of trouble getting this game working out for him properly, so we're just going to make sure that he's A-okay and then get straight back into the game. It does look like he has reconnected. We'll see whether everything's okay and get this one unpaused as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, let's just have a look at Flame.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I like it with the glasses, actually.
Yeah, it looks good. He had really blonde hair for a moment there. I don't know if you saw those pictures.
No.
I wasn't the biggest fan, but I'm liking the auburn.
Auburn. Yeah. I'm not very good at, like, pronouncing that word with an Australian accent is very different to an American accent. It felt really weird trying to
How do you say aluminum?
Aluminum isn't a word. nor is it a thing. It's aluminium. Have you heard of that one?
Thank you.
There's like an extra syllable that you're just completely foregoing.
Weird. Weird, mate.
Wow, you're getting so much better. I forgive you for your aluminum. I actually quite like the word just because it sounds silly. But
when I heard you guys say it, I was like, that's a periodic table. What?
Sometimes I just really like these localizations and how they work out.
There's Christmas, there's tinfoil.
Yeah, Christmas actually still exists at the same time. You know that?
I realized I didn't say it out loud in the store. I didn't like exclaim. I was excited for maybe 20 seconds and then it hit me. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's July.
Yeah. It's okay. I got plenty of those stories as well, but it's a little bit too long-winded in order to go into on stream. Says Max, mostly just scared of the added embarrassment. I don't need any more of that.
Speaking of July, we're getting close to the 4th. I know that means nothing to you.
No, I get it. I get it. We watch a lot of your television, the American television. So we know about all that sort of stuff.
I made an awful mistake when I first came to Australia. I watched a movie called The Reef.
Oh my goodness. You never make that mistake. I was actually going to have a conversation about Australian film, which I'm not going to, because we are going to unpause this game very, very quickly. Hopefully get back into this as soon as possible.
I see it moving, so
yeah. So let's not talk about The Reef. I just can't handle horror movies at all, Frosker, and so just don't think.
RNG are in a horror movie right now.
They are.
Trying to dig themselves out of this grave.
Well, it's not actually as big as it was last time. They'd be probably pretty happy with where they are right now. It's just below 5,000 gold, which is nowhere near the 15,000 gold that it was at 24 minutes last time. And Shock Blast is down onto Gubby.
Immediately drops the gravitational field because he expected Xiaohu to hammer form on top of him, which would have then locked him up.
And actually looking for a way in, not going to Sonic Wave onto that minion to get any kicks happening this time. RNG going to continue pressuring forward. They've got a very strong Corki, almost has that Blade of the Ruined King available. Imp going to steal away a red buff, sort of in no man's land on the bottom side of the map, but Sky is also not in the fight on the top side.
Sky
was the teleport though.
Yeah, Sky was looking for the teleport. Obviously, they don't have eyes on Imp. Now they know where he is, which is why he's being pinged. But effectively, if Sky leaves that bottom lane, they lose a tower. So RNG, in full control, they managed to take a tower for free and didn't even have to burn the teleport. So great plays from them.
Yeah, and Imp's actually just moving around multiple lanes, trying to get himself caught back up in farm. Brings it back to about a 21 CS margin, but Imp looking for the condemn there onto Xiaohu.
His life flashed before his eyes.
Yeah, it was very cheeky to get to condemn, almost into condemn range.
But just look how confident Imp is to step forward at a play like that.
That's what Imp has just always done, though. He just wants to get the extra auto attacks. If it means taking a turret shot or two, it doesn't matter. He's got the health to spare. He's one of those AD carries that does like to use his health bar as a resource.
And again, runs down to the bottom side, immediately walks all the way around thinking that if Rumble is still pushing...
Vein.
Exactly. Condemns out of bush to make sure he'll have the empowered auto when he comes around for Fog of War.
Yeah. I'm going to use my mobility move to try and get extra damage.
Not to, dodge any of the harpoons or the equalizer that would come out. Just make sure that I can hit that guy.
Damn right. Well, Imp now as well, closing the gap. 16. So it's all getting lower and lower as Whoosh was able to clear out that bottom wave, so making it a little bit more difficult for Imp, but he's more than fine now at 211 CS here to the 228 of Whoosh at 26 minutes into this game. 6-2-4 though. I'm going to talk about Godby just for a moment. He hasn't gone with the same build that he went last time I saw. It is now the Athene's on Holy Grail, but he's grabbed what looks like the makings of that Zhonya's Hourglass with the arm guard and no Sheen inside.
Anytime he has an Hourglass, I feel like it just gives him liberty to flash forward into multiple people.
Yeah, just the Godby way. I want to have any excuse to go overly aggressive. Almost has his flash back up as well. No distortion enchant, decided to go for the home guard one more time. Taking a shock blast here as well. Actually, Godby has picked up home guard boots very early both times in this particular series. Not sure whether it's a new thing here for Godby or whether he just wanted to have a little bit more mobility around or...
I mean, at that point, he probably was just back and had enough gold for the home guard, obviously able to propel him back into lane quicker.
He could have bought an amp too.
I'm not going to say that.
Just wants to move a little bit quicker here. RNG, though, with an inside track towards this mid lane inner turret. See whether they can get there in time. Flame with the teleport is on the bottom side of the map, so he can get there if they need to. The tunnel under here from Xiaoxi is going to make sure that RNG can't really move forward.
Imp is just trying to power farm every available resource. This dragon will be up in 22 seconds, but he is quickly closing that gap.
Yeah, and he's taking a whole lot of jungle creeps as well, which are worth a whole lot more gold. So a lot of these numbers that are being built up for Imp, a little bit more, I guess,
invisible power.
Yeah, effective than what Woosh is grabbing. Cast a creep versus Big Krug, for instance.
And then immediately back into the mid lane. Then he should rotate back towards the dragon pit.
Unless a wolf camp comes up, in which case kill that, and then continue on.
Oh, this is a good pick.
Yeah, walks over a ward. Actually,
Beautiful.
There's the headbutt pulverize. Imp going to get destroyed. Woosh locks it down with a phosphorus bomb. Godby coming through. There's a boomerang across there from Flame, but there's the equalizer. 3 members of LGD forced to walk across it. And RNG, they're going to have control of this dragon.
Great pick from RNG, making sure that they got on top of the objective, set down their vision, and a beautiful knock-up phosphorus bomb shockwave to just destroy Imp.
LGD doing a decent job trying to poke back here as Meganar is going to wear off. The flashback from Flame as Godby's going to get kicked in. There's the resonating strike, but MLXG getting destroyed. Taken down. The laser beam comes in as well. PYL's going to die. Xiaohu does have his W running, trying to get his health back, but Woosh with the aggressive moves on this Corki. Able to lock down the kill under Godby.
There was no real reason for LG to fight right there. Not quite sure why they decided to hang around. They're trying to make the most out of Flame's Mega Gnar form and see if they can get an overextension or a bait. And yeah, they did get the pick on MLXG, but in the end, it trades even, as well as RNG getting the dragon.
Yeah, and I guess RNG, anything that goes even is in their favor. And the fact that they managed to pick up the first dragon, stop that 5th dragon win condition from being apparent there on the LGD side, is a big deal.
Especially because it would have been the 4th Baron, which obviously empowers 4th dragon, which obviously empowers the Baron Shred, which was the next big objective that LGD had been dancing around to help crack the base of RNG, because they're wave clear. I mean, unless Jace and Corki are dead, it's very difficult to break through these creep lines.
There's the fact that, you know, flat percentage of stats is a big deal in the likes of Xiaohu. I mean, 6% on top of all of the extra flat AD that he's been building up is a big deal. And, of course, the double dipping that you get from Woosh. I mean, he's going to benefit from both the AP and the AD.
One of the only 80 carries to do that.
Yeah. Of course, another one is Ashe.
I was going to say Ezreal. But Blue Ashe is a thing in the LPL.
Yeah, not quite so... Oh, beautiful play from PYL, but they are going to be able to start off this fight. PYL
Nice
going down
equalizer.
very, very low. Burnt to shreds from that equalizer. Woosh takes a lot of damage. Imps pop the final hour, dodges the accelerated shock blast, and Xiaohu going to get tagged by the boomerang, but RNG take a pick, and they are able to disengage. This gold lead from LGD slowly waning.
That's 3 amazing equalizers back to back to back from Sky right here, as well as just the absurd amount of burst damage that Xiaohu and Wushin are able to pull on this Jace Corki combo. And we talked about, you know, RNG's composition. It's excellent because as long as they lay down their poke, they have so many tools to force the enemy team to fight them. And it's really been in Lei's hands. You know, he fumbled his WQ cooldown earlier on the top side, but redeeming himself.
Yeah, he's really making it work. Flame has picked himself up the Thornmail as well as the Randuins, though, so he's definitely going to struggle to die in a lot of these team fights, but they will need to get rid of Sky because there's still relevant magic damage available on the side of RNG. The Hex Drinker and Spectre Scale are going to help. Probably not as much as his extra itemization into that armor.
Bloodthirster now complete on the side of Xiaohu.
Yeah. He takes a pot shot there, and despite having some extra armor with the Zhonya's Hourglass, he's still taking a whole lot from these shock blasts. He's going to go back to base as well, actually. Both of these AD carries as well, sitting on about 3 items, as well as the QSS there for Imp. Bit of a luxury one to make sure that he can get out of the CC available from RNG, but a lot of it is actually knock-up. So like the kickback from LXG, Lei's headbutt pulverize, there's not a whole lot he can QSS really.
So look at the CC on the side of LGD. Like, speaking of the knockups and all of the disruption on RNG, LGD, you have non-committal CC from PYL in terms of the death sentence. You throw it out, you like it, you go on it. You obviously have the big Gnar ultimate from Flame, but the more consistent and immediate would be Rek'Sai's Unburrow flash onto backlines, because obviously you have to prep Gnar to look for his big Wombo combo. or you have to make a pick with the death sentence. And the fact that it's their sub that has the most consistent and immediate CC in terms of team fighting, I think is kind of this stalling out and floundering that we're seeing here of LGD's team fight.
Sort of the forcible CC is on a player that may not necessarily have the confidence to use it. But speaking of confidence, LGD did start off the Baron there for a moment.
Oh, the mid lane rush. Base race.
Oh, it is. Potential base race.
Oh, they chickened out.
Back off. But LGD, they're going to be able to take down this turret, grab that one for free. Minion wave is pressing up the mid lane, but lots of vision available for LGD. They are going to be able to take down this inhibitor turret. The teleport was used from Sky. Godby tanking up the turret for a little bit. Dark Passage going to be taken by the mid laner. MLXG not going to find a Q just yet. Slay going to get lasered to the face. Yahoo with a lot of damage, but MLXG is going to get collapsed on. The box is down, but PYL not finding anyone with it. Godby, aggressive positioning. Flash death sentence. Just dodge. He picks the gap there, does PYL, and they can't find a way in. Imp is just going to take so much damage from Yahoo. There's another fantastic equalizer, but Imp able to get Lei out of his face there as Sky trying to throw the harpoons in. Still not really fully committing are either of these sides as Flame's going to get tagged by the Sonic Wave. And RNG actually playing this really, really well. Godby actually flashing forward. Look at the laser beam. Takes down MLXG, blows the Zhonya's. The Gnar into the wall. Yahoo forced to flash out of the way of the wallop. And LGD, they finally pull the trigger.
The individual outplay from Godby to clean that up in LGD's favor. They should look and turn on Baron.
They are moving towards there right now.
That was absurd.
That was just ridiculous. I'm still reeling just a little bit.
And just the way that Xiaohu played with the Wolf Camp to make sure that PYL wasn't able to commit with the death sentence.
It's fantastic play all around there as Lei was looking for a steal. Not likely to grab that on the side of an Alistair, but PYL does throw out a lantern. And RNG, they are going to be able to clear out some tunnels. That's the consolation prize they get as LGD take down the Baron.
And just unfortunately one team fight gone awry for RNG. And again, immediately the game opens up in LG's favor. They will get a consolation prize, however. Looking at this dragon, that said, Shashi is actually in position.
Yeah, looking to try and get there. Standing on a ward at the moment. But RNG, they do have a lot of damage here. It's already down to half health. Teleport comes through from Flame. Looking to try and get in amongst it. MLXG just popping over the wall. He's going to be able to lock that one down. Xiaohu, though, taking so much damage from him. Gets knocked up from the kick, though. There's the equalizer from Sky. And Lei's going to kill Imp. LGD now trying to turn this one around. MLXG, he's going to fall down. But LGD missing a whole lot of their backline damage. Sorry, Lei might need to trade himself. Xiaohu died in amongst all that, though. So the trade definitely going in favor of LGD. But now that death sentence was more than max range as Flame heads into Mega Gnar form, allows him to tank up so much more. And Sky knows Zhonya's is going to save you from 4 members of LGD.
And then they respond to the massive wave that's building on the bottom side. That will surely be a free inhibitor as Wushin is the last remaining member of RNG to try to keep this inhib up.
Yeah, it's the LGD cooking show one more time. This is the lane that we prepared earlier. Have a look. Pulls it out of the oven, able to take the inhibitor as well. So more fantastic coordinated play from this LGD squad, and going to be able to empowered recall themselves back to base and continue the shove in. And now it's sort of the circling of the drain for RNG as LGD just pull the screws even tighter.
It looked much more difficult for LGD. Now, we talk about how along a star-studded roster as far as LGD, you point at TBQ. He's the weak link here if you're going to point at anyone on them. They sub him out, but suddenly LGD, they're struggling to start fights. It was only on a massive flash outplay of Godby's Victor behind second-tier tower. When you have a Rek'Sai on your team, that forced them to finally catch RNG and clean up these fights to transition into Baron. I miss you, TBQ.
I know, it's so weird. I was just thinking about a better way to say that. The fact that LGD definitely look like off the back of TBQ's sort of almost sometimes unwarranted aggression are able to turn things around because at least they're making decisive plays from the jungle every single time.
Shashi, though, 2-2 and 13.
Yeah.
Not a bad debut performance.
The player I want to talk about, though, is the fact that Godby has just really launched back into power in this mid lane. The Victor now 12-3 and 4. It was an unbelievable performance on the Kassadin in the last game, especially in the leading phase early on. Really got them to a point where they could win the game. LGD just looking very, very strong. Imp has just been in a lane on his own for this entire game. LGD now starting a bit of an engagement. Lei actually is going to be the one. Unbreakable Will has been popped. MLXG in the backside, but he kicks out Xiaoxi, not exactly the target they want, and he's going to die. Now Lei trying to re-engage this one. The equalizer so late in this fight as PYL tanking up the turret. Imp making his way in. Xiao just gets 3-shot one more time. Whoosh dies to the red buff, and Imp just going to use his lifesteal, get all his health back, and that's the ace for LGD.
That was a 4v5. Imp only got involved on the very back half of that team fight. And what started out a little bit as they try to wander through these towers.
Oh my goodness, Imp almost died to that, but they are going to be able to take down the rest of these minions. The Nexus turrets as well. They realize that they can just win the game, and LGD, they waste no time. 38 minutes into this one, they're able to close this one out. In the end, just over a 10,000 gold lead, about 12,000 as the Nexus falls, and LGD convincing 2-0 victory over RNG.
The set against Xiaogu
What is he doing?
has awakened a monster in this LGD. They're like, hey guys, it's middle of the season. We got to start prepping for playoffs. And suddenly, they're back in old form.
Yeah, suddenly it seems like we're back towards this team that was the runner-up of the LPL split last time around. This team sort of went from looking very, very strange at the beginning of this split particularly, but now, once again, that dominant form, and it's off the back of Wayless. Godby, of course, now just looking so strong from the mid lane position.
And Godby was never super aggressive in his lane. If you go all the way back to his rookie year, even when he was a big Ahri player, he was good at controlling the minion waves, and he showed up in team fights, but he wasn't known as like a lane dominant